Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the R&D show. It's your boy Shad holding it down on this beautiful Monday evening. Once to get in here and do a video. There's so much going on. I wanted to say hello to our new subscribers and check in on our loyal subscribers to see how everyone is doing. Hope all is well with you and your family. Everyone is in good health, blessed and highly favored, and all of those great things. Hopefully you also had a great weekend. And so yeah, let's get it started. So there is a lot going on in the world of reality TV. I haven't talked about a few shows in a while, and so I want to jump into discussing Real Housewives of Atlanta and kind of see if anybody else has been watching. They're now, in the reunion, and they're on the second. They just aired the second part of the reunion last night. But let me just say that when I think about how the season started off and how before the season even started, you had Shamia and even Kelly and Kenya and a few others who had already created this narrative about Britt Edie. And so she wasn't given a fair chance. She wasn't given a fair chance for us to just get to know her because we already had this impression based off of other people's experience, of their quote unquote stories and experiences of her. But as the season progressed, me getting to know Britt Edie and her stepping out into, her light and a lane of her own, I started to really enjoy Britt on the show because I got to know who she was outside of the alliance that was created between her and Kelly and Shamia. And for her to just stand on her own, she became very likable as they became very unlikable. And I said this before in a previous video, I was never team Shamia. And for me, I'm never team anybody. I like to get to know people by myself, on my own, to feel them out, and to just see how they show up. And consistency is important in holding your own, and accountability and all those things. And so I really did grow fond of Britt Edie as I started to see how stories played out. Because you have to remember, Kelly painted a picture of Britt saying that she did this, this, and this. And Shamia also painted a picture early on of Britt saying that she talked about her kids and all the rest of this. None of that happened. I want to be very clear that questioning someone's parenting and choices that they have decided is not the same as talking directly about someone's child. And so what Britt did is she questioned Shamia's parenting. Shamia tried to go low on Britt, so Britt questioned her parenting. If your daughter was as sick, pretty much as you said that she was, and you were that concerned, why wouldn't you have left Grenada, or when we left Grenada, why didn't you fly directly back to Atlanta? Instead, you went to Miami and had shots and had a good time. And so some people will be like, oh, that's too far, that's too far. It's not too far. It's a real question. It's a real concern. Like, if you were just crying a river and doing all of these things, your first thought should have been to get back on that plane once this was all said and done and race home to your baby. That's just how I see it as a parent. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm this emotionally distraught, even if it's been a few days, I still need to hurry up and get back to my child, because I was in this space of where I was so concerned, and I'm still concerned. It's not going to change just because, I'm going out and having a good time with my friends while I'm out of the country, because you can't get back as quickly as you would like to when you're out of the country. It's different if you're just in a different state. You know what I mean? And so I feel like her point was valid. She wasn't disrespectful in the way that she mentioned her child, because she did not talk about her child. She talked about Shamia's choice of parenting, and if this was so important to you, why did you do this instead of this? So I'm gonna agree with her on that and disagree with Shamia and her explosive reaction, trying to seem as if she talked about her child, and she never did. one thing that I don't like about Shamia, and this kept progressing and happening more and more over time, is I don't like that she used her child's illness as emotional manipulation to gain sympathy votes from the viewers. That's how I look at it personally. Because if you think about it, Shamia was very nice, nasty, very passive aggressive, very mean girlish. But as soon as she wanted some type of sympathy after her actions, she would muster up these crocodile tears and talk about her child. I don't like that she used her child's illness as a storyline for sympathy votes. That's my only thing. I think that if you were being authentic and, it flowed some type of way, and this is my reality, this is what it is, fine. But on one too many occasions, she wanted those sympathy votes. And so any opportunity that she got after not being the nicest person, she used that as emotional manipulation, not only for the castmates, but also for the viewers. And I didn't think that that was cool. So definitely lost respect for her when it comes to that. And now that we think about, I don't know if anybody's been watching the reunion, but as the reunion has been playing out, I also am more on Portia's side when it comes to, I was already on Portia's side, right? But, and it's not being biased, it's basically paying attention to people's actions and behavior. Shamia has lied her way through this whole season as if she's shown up one way in this friendship and Portia has shown up a different way in the friendship. But the reality of the situation is Portia was really trying to protect the space of her friendship. She was trying to protect her friendship from being in a situation to where, you're having too many ears and too many eyes and too many opinions in what we have. Like, we have this history, and we may have had our ups and downs and all arounds, but we have this history. So it's kind of like, let's protect that, and whatever we need to heal and or unpack, let's not wait until the cameras come on to do that, because now you have too many hands in the pot. I can respect that. However, Shamia used this as a moment to do all of these things on national television, to throw her rocks and hide her hands and act as if she didn't say this, and this about, her and Portia and where they're at and things of that nature, when the reality of it is she really did. And as more people are just like, no, Shamia, but you really did that, she continues to try to lie her way out of it. But you can only do so much lying your way out of it. If it's more than two people that are saying, but you were upset and you were crying and you did talk about Portia and you did say these things and you did say that, why not basically fess up to the fact that you were struggling maybe with some things in your relationship with Portia? Why not say, yes, I did. And maybe I did it because, I don't know, I just felt like venting. But stand 10 toes. She kept trying to run away from it. And then also, pointing fingers at Portia as if Portia didn't congratulate her. Portia didn't come to her wedding. Portia didn't do this. And Portia's like, but I did. You had 2 weddings. I went to the first one. I congratulate you more than once in different ways when you became a full housewife, when you got your peach. Anything that Shamia was trying to throw at Portia was coming back. And today she came back on social media with receipts. But I think it was easy to believe what Portia was saying based off of Shamia's track record. Her track record hasn't been the cleanest when it comes to telling the truth. And that's why I just kind of didn't understand how people were so team Shamia. Like, oh, Shamia, she's such a girl's girl. She's such a this, she's such a sweetheart. I'm like, come on now, y'all. Was we not watching the same show back in season 9, I guess, whatever the case may be? It's just kind of like, And what's for me, I can read people pretty well and I have a good sense of discernment, and I'm just kind of like, a lot of it was trying too hard. And it's trying too hard to want to be seen, to want to be accepted, to fit in, or whatever the case may be. And so you're coming off a little bit impressionable. It's great that you live an amazing lifestyle, but at the same time, you're showing up in a way that is distasteful to me. Um, and the way that she was treating people as well. One moment you're about, respecting other women and celebrating women. The next moment you're nasty with your mouth and tearing down another woman. And again, throwing your rocks and hiding your hands, because she did the same thing with Drew. And let me just get on Drew, because I love the fact that Shamia told Portia she was lying, and Portia was like, "You're lying." My thing is, all of them lie. As much as y'all be on Drew's case, like, oh, Drew's a liar. Everybody on Housewives lies. They twist a lie. They lie so that they can make themselves look better. They lie about simple stuff or silly stuff. They say that they forgot that they did this or said this, and then we'll have a flashback. Everybody lying. Ain't nobody's lie no bigger than the other when it comes to them all lying, except for certain things, that got way blown out of proportion, and it was a huge lie. But other than that, one thing that I love about Drew is she knows how to be unbothered and still like throw her shade and gather them and get them together and do whatever she needs to do so that you're just not walking all over Drew. And she exhibiting this behavior on this reunion, like she is just coasting in such a beautiful way. And it's so great to watch her growth and to see where she's at, and also to stand up for herself. And she don't have to yell and scream. She's doing it in such a tone that I think I think is getting under someone's skin. But that's how you handle it. Sometimes they say kill them with kindness, and I feel like that's what she's doing. But at the same time, within that kindness, what you're not going to do is be disrespectful and or downplay me or lie on me. And so I do enjoy the fact that Drew is standing in her light. And listen, Drew should have been first chair. Let's just be very clear. Drew had a great storyline. She was definitely the breakout of this season. And she led the charge of this season. You know what I mean? Like, everybody had Drew's name in their mouth. So it should have been her sitting across from Portia. And after that, it should have been, Portia in her seat, and then sitting on top of Portia's lap should have been Shamia, and then on top of Shamia's lap should have been Kelly. Since we got lapdog number 1 and lapdog number 2, since they can't seem to find their own identity and stay in their place and or hold themselves accountable or hold their friends accountable for their actions, but they always want to chime in, even when they know that their friends is wrong, even if they know they feel some type of way about it. It's so weird. And so, even from the end of the couch, you can still see how Drew is showing up. And that's not her rightful position. Her and Angela, I feel like, had the best season. What else is memorable here? Let's see. The Angela and Phaedra stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I do like the fact that Portia is just not letting it ride out and just be what it is. She's like, no, I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to present what the truth really is and what really took place, because you can't just keep playing the victim. And that's what Shamia does. She plays the villain and the victim, but when she's really the villain in her own story. Like, you're the villain, you're the true villain, but you want to make Portia the villain so bad and present yourself as this person that has really shown up, who's emotional and sincere and the greatest best friend to everybody and all these things, and it's just too much. And another thing is, her getting caught in the lie where she's saying, oh, me, Portia, Kelly, and Britt talked about being an alliance. And then a few minutes later, she's like, well, I told you about it, and we should have, and I invited you to be a part of the alliance. So at one moment you're saying Portia knew about the alliance, it was going to be a part of it, and then the next moment you're saying, well, I invited you to be a part of it. Make it make sense. So it was like anytime that she was opening her mouth, she was getting herself caught up. It's kind of weird. But yeah, that's my take from the Real Housewives of Atlanta this far. Drop down and let me know your take on it and your opinions and your thoughts. If you agree or disagree, whatever the case might be, let's have the conversation. I now want to move on to Basketball Wives. I don't know if y'all been watching Basketball Wives, but Basketball Wives has been very interesting. It's been kind of like a tough watch as well. I will say that I can do without Chantel, Denise, and Brittany on that show. But the way that Chantel is showing up and the way that she's acting toward her mom, it's a tough watch. And I can understand now, you know, Jackie can do some crazy things and be delusional and all the rest of this, but I can understand her stance of not wanting to go there with her daughter on national TV, not wanting to invite everybody into this space where you have all these opinions and you get to be a part of my family issues. So it's sad that Chantel decided to unpack whatever issues she has with her mother on national TV. And it's like, at one point, you want to be looked at as a grown woman, but at another point, you're acting like a little girl. And so, all of it is just weird, right? I'll never understand it. With this, I'm with Jackie on this, because regardless of how you may feel about your mother or whatever has happened behind closed doors or whatever, have that conversation behind closed doors. Let's go to therapy, whatever we need to do. But allowing your friends that you just met on this show to badmouth me, call me all types of names, have this energy like they want to fight, and you just sit back and think that it's okay because their team you is unacceptable. She should have no place for disrespect when it comes to her mother from other people, let alone herself. And I don't know, for me it's just weird to watch that. And from my understanding, there may not be a reunion at all based off of certain things that have transpired on this show. And it kind of makes sense, because I feel like a reunion would just blow up really bad. Now, if they do have it, they have it. I think they have to be very careful about the narrative and how they govern themselves on the reunion, because there's going to be some hot heads. There's going to be some people that are going to be in a space where they're not happy at all. And I can understand, like, for instance, Jennifer and Christian and Christian's family not being happy at all with Evelyn and having a huge issue with her. But then you have Evelyn that likes to play the victim, and her wanting to feel some type of way because finally Jen has gotten into this space where she is speaking her mind, even if it is on social media, even if it is in confessionals. But that's better than what we've gotten from Jen, who just kind of shuts down and doesn't want to deal with it, which I can also respect that too, because I'm the type of person that, unless you like got in my face and was that bold to act as if you're going to do this, and this, then I'm going to give you a reaction, but not because you want to, but because I have to protect myself. But if you're just, you know, talking and saying all these things on however you're doing it, to me, I live my life in peace and not pieces, and I don't have time to entertain. And like, what you think about me is not a responsibility. So I'm not losing any sleep. You know, what you think about me is just not my responsibility. I rather protect my peace and, you know, just stay away from me. If that's how you feel, stay away from me. Why are you wanting to be so involved in my life, in my day-to-day, if you feel this way about me? Stay away from me. It's that simple. But of course, because people are miserable and they want you to be miserable, they want you to play into whatever narrative that they've created about you. And listen, a lie don't care who tell it. And it's up to those to either entertain that lie or to be like, I want no parts of it. And so that's how I feel. And I feel like for so long, that's kind of how Jen was when it came to drama. It's just like, I don't want to take part in it. But now she's just trying to protect her marriage in the space that she's in right now. And so she is, you know, responding to certain things. But I just hope that this is the last of the Evelyn and Jen saga. And if we're only coexisting because we have to film together, fine. But as far as the tit for tat, the back and forth, the aggressiveness, the nastiness that Evelyn displays towards Jen, I would like for that to be completely over with and done. That story is old. Let's not unbury it and try to bring it back to life. It happened so many years ago. What was that, like 2012, 2011? Somewhere when she, she got on that table and she smacked her. Well, she was trying to smack her, but she was trying to run across the table and fight her and all the rest of this stuff. And it's like, to get to this space with someone that was your actual best friend, were we really best friends? Did you really value me that much? Why would this be the reaction? I don't know. It's just a lot that has gone into that. But let me know your thoughts on Basketball Wives, because I'm also over Brittany. Not understanding why Brittany's on the show. Not understanding why she's put on this facade as if, she was on this spiritual journey and it has been the most evil, explosive one on the show. I've never met someone that's on a spiritual journey who's just toxic. They're argumentative, they're cursing, they're yelling, and they just act like they want to explode whenever they're not heard or understood. What type of spiritual journey is that? All for me to find out today that she is no longer on this journey. She's back to wearing dresses. She's, started a new podcast. But none of it makes sense to me anyway. And also, if you're not doing this because of this is what you want to do, this is where your heart and your mind, your body and your soul is, but you're doing it because of someone else, because of a relationship, because of a man and or a woman, then you won't be honestly on a journey of healing, of spirituality, of anything. Everything has to start with self and what we really want for ourselves. Is anybody can bring you to the water, but they can't make you drink it, right? But if you are that thirsty, you're going to get to that water and you're going to drink as much as you can to quench that thirst, because you're ready for the change. You're ready to feel hydrated. You're ready for these amazing things to take place in your life. And so I couldn't do without her on that show. Her, again, don't bring her back. Don't bring Denise back. Don't bring Chantel back. Like, if anything, give us OG, give us some people that are gonna also give others what they're looking for. And I feel like sometimes Evelyn's looking for her match, okay? OG can be her match, When you want somebody you're gonna spar with, let's bring somebody that is willing to play on that same level. Or just cancel the show, honestly. I feel like they're reaching for these storylines, and I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your honest thoughts. To close out this video, I want to talk about the amazing, the incredible Malcolm Jamal Warner. Unfortunately, we lost Malcolm Jamal Warner on today. It's being alleged that he drowned while he's on vacation with his family. To see that and to think about, the legacy, and to think about just growing up watching him and me watching his last interview that he did on Sherry Shepherd, and just the love and the light, it's sad news. It's like there's certain celebrities that pass away and it's just like a hit to the chest, because even though we don't know them personally, we feel like we do know them, because we got to experience them on some type of way, and he's just gone too soon. Such a vessel, such a man, such a example of positive masculinity, and an example of what it looks like to protect your family and to protect your craft and to continue to elevate within your career, and to just be a good person, you know, because a lot of times the child actors, you know, they get into, you know, drugs or things that kind of shift them mentally. And but to see him grow into this beautiful human being and to continue to have this love and this light, and to pour into others like he did on his podcast, for that light to now have been dimmed and it's no longer there, it's definitely sad. It's definitely sad. It's heartbreaking. And so I want to send my sincerest condolences and so much love, thoughts, and prayers to his family, his wife, his daughter, his friends, and everybody that is feeling the impact of this great loss. May God bless and comfort his friends and his family. And so that's what I have today on the R&D show. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, share this video, and look forward to more content. Hopefully you enjoyed. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. God bless you. Peace.